What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back with a currency video. So I was at my local Wells Fargo today dropping off some quarters and pennies and picking up a box of $50, and the tellers, they always look out for me. They said, hey, we have this really old ratty $1 bill, and we think you'd like to see it. So I was like, absolutely, I would love to see it. And if you guys are doing any kind of coin roll hunting, if you're in the bank all the time getting change, get to know the tellers, right? Get to know them on a first name basis. Get to be chummy and pals with them, because this is the kind of stuff. I don't think we're going to have a lot of value in this video, but this is some pretty cool stuff that was literally, they just set it aside in their drawer for me. And I got to pick it all up at face value. And I'm going to need some help from you guys out there that possibly know more about this stuff than I do, because I am not a big paper money collector. I haven't spent a lot of time in it. I'm not really good at the grades. We're going to talk about the grades today. But if you know a lot about these bills, please shoot me an email. Leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, go ahead and click on the subscribe button and the like button. That would be super. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. But I would love to hear from you, because I'm going to tell you what I think the value is worth today, just based on some quick eBay searches. But like I said, I'm not an expert, and if you get the grade wrong on these things, it could be a huge difference in the overall value of the currency. So with all that said, the dollar bill that the tellers had pulled aside, it is ratty. It has some tears in it. It has a million folds in it. It has writing on it. This has no real numismatic value, and I get that. But it is a 1935D blue label United States $1 bill, which means it is a silver certificate. And I'm just going to read to you guys here for a second. But these bills first began circulating in 1878 and were backed by the United States stockpile of silver bullion. These certificates could be redeemed at one point for their value in silver. So if you think, when I was a kid, probably, when I was a kid in the 70s, this was probably good for half an ounce of silver, right? Maybe a little less than that. If you were a 60s kid, this was probably for a full ounce of silver, this $1 bill. I'll put the rest of this up on screen if you want to read it. I'm not going to read it to you, but in case you were curious, this did used to be worth, you could trade it in and actually get silver bullion from the U.S. government, which I think is pretty darn cool. Now, I've looked this bill up on eBay. Nothing, I couldn't find like ratty condition listings, but just listings that said $1 silver certificate 1935D bills. These were going for like $3 or $4 with no guarantee of any grade. So, I mean, if I were to try to sell it, I would think at least worth $3 or $4. If you know better than I, please, like I said, let me know in the description down below. I have no expectation that this is worth a ton of money, because it is truly a ratty bill. I am going to hang on to it though. So let's see here. I've got a couple of singles under here. I need to move those because they're just regular $1 bills. That made it look like I had more money than I did. That was not on purpose. I apologize. This is probably the next coolest bill that they had. One of the other tellers, while I was there, said, I've got some red label $2 bills, because while I was there, I was educating the tellers on what a blue label meant. And they said, well, I have some red label $2 bills. And I said, I'll take those too. So this is the first, and like I said, probably the most valuable of the $2 bills. And this is the one I am most interested in getting some feedback on. This is a 1928 G series. We were close to a trinary, but not really. We do have 3 consecutive zeros, so I don't think we have a special serial number. But when it comes to grade, I think this bill's a little bit better than average in that we have a couple of major creases, right? But this hasn't been crumpled up and carried around in somebody's pocket. We do have a little bit of writing on it. If you've never seen the back of a $2 bill from this time period, that's what it looks like. I think it's a beautiful bill. But I would love to know what your thoughts are on grade, because when I look on eBay, this, if you say this is upwards of like an extremely fine or whatever, like a grade 35 or something, This could be, a $30 or $40 $2 bill. If you think it's far less than that, I mean, we're talking back in that range of $3 to $5. So I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. We'll talk about the grading scale a little bit more in this video, but I'm going to keep moving on. This is the one that I'm most excited about. So if you do know a lot about $2 bills, especially red label or conditioning, I would love to hear from you. The other two bills are from 1963, so they're less rare. Both are actually in pretty good condition as well. This one has a minor tear in the corner, which would hurt its value, and we have a little bit of writing, but we don't have any real hard creases, at least maybe one here in the middle. But both of these bills are in pretty darn good condition. Again, we don't have any fancy serial numbers. We do have 3 that repeats 3 times. We don't have trinaries. We don't have binaries. Nothing like that. But the red label bills, in case you didn't know what that was, these came out after the blue label silver certificates. And these were issued during the Civil War. And they were produced for about 100 years, making them one of the longest produced notes next to the current green sealed notes made by the federal, the green label's Federal Reserve notes. But the red label had the next longest run of bills. So these are more common, much more common, of course, than the the blue label bill that we had there in the silver certificate. So these are, to me, still very interesting because they started making them, or they made them during the Civil War period. Anyway, very interesting stuff for me. I'm going to go and look on eBay and see if I can find some listings for bills that I think are in this condition. And we're going to pull up sort of a grading scale and talk about that as well. So let's jump over to the computer. Okay, so we are over here on the computer. We are over at pmgnotes.com, where they have a very good explanation of the PMG grading scale. And we are going to focus down here near the bottom for all of these bills, starting with the $1 bill. G4, very heavily circulated note with numerous problems, totally limp with impaired visual appeal. This grade also seen missing pieces. Good 4, we've got note is very worn with serious splits, fraying of the margins and damage. And very good 8, heavily circulated but is intact. Some small pieces may be missing, soiling. Light stains or spills are common for this grade. The note is limp. And the last one I'll read is VG10 because I cannot imagine we would be higher than that. But a solid whole note with lots of circulation. Note is too limp. It has a number of minor problems. So, we are somewhere on that between a G4 and a VG10. I would be leaning very much towards the bottom of the scale. That said, I did look up on eBay for a 1935D silver certificate, 1 blue seal dollar bill. And tough to find something that looks exactly like mine, but, people selling these same bills without any guarantee of a grade or even an estimated grade. I'm seeing a lot in like the $2.50 range, $4 range, $3 range, right? So as I said before, I mean, unless you guys tell me something differently, like maybe that D series is special, I'm guessing this is probably between like a $2 and a $4 bill if I were to put it on eBay. I don't plan to, but you guys always like to know the value of these things. That's what I would say it is. But I could be very wrong about this because I'm not a big paper currency person. So please, please, please let me know in the comments down below if I am horribly mistaken. So moving over to the 1963 $2 bills, so the newer of the $2 bills. Actually, let's go back to the PMG scale. I think these would grade much higher. I think that based on what I showed you guys, I don't know if I held them up, these are actually in pretty darn good shape. I think these would rate much higher on the scale unless any writing on the bill destroys the grade, because one of them does have writing. The other one has some ink stains on it, but you can see that many of these grades include some sort of soiling or light stains. So, if I come up here and look at some of the higher grades, I would think that, these don't really have 7 to 10 folds. They are lightly circulated. They do have at least a center crease in them. I think we may be able to get as high as a VF30 to maybe even an EF40. So 3 or more folds, one of which may be horizontal. And I can tell you neither of these bills, looking at them, have a horizontal fold in them. And I will put some additional little pictures or video on the screen to help. These could be much, much higher in grade. And when I look at eBay, and I just put in XF to get an idea, per the last bill, I think we could easily get $3.50 to $4 for these. You can see their bills have many more creases than the ones I have. But I also see these going for, $7. Now, crisp uncirculated $10, so perhaps we can't get quite $10 for these if these are truly new, nice, crisp $2 bills from 1963. So, just based on that, I think, $4 on the low end probably, maybe as high as $7 or $8 on the high end. I would love to know what you guys think. Here's a circulated one. They got $5.50. Granted, this guy got $6.55 for 2, so it is a little bit when you post it, I suppose. Here's somebody that only got $7.50. So if I had to guess, I think I would be up there in that $4 to maybe $7 or $8 range. Moving on to the 1928, I think that, again, we're up here in this kind of space. We do have a horizontal crease. We do have some faint writing on it. I don't see any soiling on it. And overall, we do have one horizontal crease, and it looks like 2 vertical creases. We have decent corners. I think we could get up here into an EF40. I don't think we have heavy folds. I don't know. You guys let me know. Are we 30, 35 range, or are we 45, maybe even higher? Would love to know. I just guessed for the purposes of this video that we were at a VF, and I see this bill going for a lot more. $32. Now, this is graded, so you're seeing this at, $49.95, and that's fair. Somebody paid to have the currency graded, so they should expect to get more top dollar for it. Here's $23.18. Now, maybe you're getting 3 of them for that price. Here's $16.20. Here's $15.19 for a single. Here's, $22.50. So, if I just picked up a $18, $19, $20, $21, $2 bill, I would love to know that. So if you know a bunch about these, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to go ahead and just take a swag at it and say this $2 bill is worth about 20 bucks. All right, well, that wraps up our kind of old red label and blue label currency that I was able to pick up from my bank tellers today for a grand total of $7. If I'm even remotely right about any of this value, call it $3, just making up some numbers based on the averages I said, $3, $18, and 6 and 6. That's 6, 12, 30, call it $33 worth of currency that I just picked up for $7. Even if I'm off by not 100%, if I'm wrong and cut that in half and say it's $15, I still did great. This is $7 worth of currency, potentially worth $15. Now, on eBay, after you take out shipping and fees and all that kind of stuff, obviously that gets whittled down pretty quickly to about $10 or $11. But still not a bad little haul for just chatting up the tellers at the bank. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was kind of interesting for me because I don't do a lot of currency videos outside of like serial numbers. So I thought this was pretty cool. I don't see this stuff very often, and I enjoyed it, so I hope you did too. If you're not already a subscriber to the channel, please do consider heading down below this video and clicking on that subscribe button. And while you're down there, go ahead and click on that bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I release a new video. Click that like button and leave me a comment, especially if you would know a lot about old American currency, because it's an area where I'm still learning and guessing. And I love to learn, and if you guys know more than I do, please share the knowledge. With that said, you guys take care, have fun, and I will see you in the next one.